This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
This is Faith Under Fire. We take you straight to the front lines of religious battlegrounds. I'm news anchor Sarah Harnisch, and with me today, Patients' Rights Action Fund's Jessica Rodgers. We're talking the March for Life. The March for Life takes place this month in thousands of cities across the United States. It'll happen in Washington, D.C. on January 23rd, and Syracuse hosts the longest-running March for Life in New York this Saturday in less than 48 hours. This year, they're not only taking a stand against abortion, but fighting for all life. Front and center is the Medical Aid in Dying Act, New York's looming new doctor-assisted suicide law. Jessica, you're delivering the keynote address. Once this is signed, and Kathy Hochul says the verbal agreement is already finished, the bill is a done deal. We're no longer preventing it. The March for Life hits differently this year in the Empire State.
Unfortunately, we have to shift now. In the past, we were talking about how to stop assisted suicide. And now our focus moves to how do we protect our loved ones under this new policy in New York State.
For those that have never been to a March for Life before, what can they expect? Where do people go? How long will it last? How big do these marches get?
Well, the marches certainly get pretty large. I'm always hopeful that we'll have hundreds of people there. And I know that people are really passionate about this. This year, with all of the news coverage around assisted suicide, I'm expecting a pretty significant turnout. People should start at Armory Square, and then the march is just going to be from Armory Square down to the county courthouse. All told, I don't imagine that we'll be there more than an hour standing in the cold, and you're going to be walking for part of that time. It'll get the blood flowing. So wear your warm coats and come and join us.
What will you be speaking on?
I'm speaking on assisted suicide. So my goal is to educate everyone who's out there on what this bill actually does and how to protect our loved ones in the face of legal assisted suicide. This is a battle that people have been waging in New York State for a decade now, that it's been held back. And I really truly believe that the governor was conflicted. She returned it back to the legislature with significant alterations, which tells me that she knows assisted suicide is dangerous and unfortunately thinks that these new amendments somehow mitigate the dangers. For all of us in New York, they don't. And I hope that the crowd walks away with an understanding of how to talk about this issue and how to care for their loved ones who are at risk.
We're at the point where Governor Hochul is refusing to reverse course on this Medical Aid in Dying Act, and you hit the nail on the head with that. We have to educate people on how to protect themselves, how to communicate. How are you training people?
The very first thing that people need to be comfortable doing is talking to their doctor and talking to the doctors of anyone that they're caring for. If you have aging parents or grandparents, or you have anyone in your life that you help be an advocate for, make sure that they have a doctor that does not participate in assisted suicide. If you have a loved one receiving palliative care or hospice care, question them. Make sure that they don't participate in assisted suicide. That is how we can continue to hold the line and continue to make sure that medical professionals opt out and that they know that their patients want them to opt out.
The word that gets thrown around a lot is compassion. The Medical Aid in Dying Act. It's this kindness to another person to help them take their life, and it's evil.
Truly. I always push back against using their phrasing. I never say medical aid in dying because A, it's not what this is. And two, medical aid in dying is such a broad term that it can encompass everything from palliative care to euthanasia. I always use assisted suicide because That is what it is, whether or not people want to hear it. And it is also the most precise term. I think that it comes across as compassion in a very cursory glance. And the second you look at it a little harder, you realize that it's truly dangerous and discriminatory. And frankly, it's ableist. Everyone who qualifies for assisted suicide is actually considered disabled under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And these laws are inherently a violation of the ADA. There's nothing compassionate about abandoning your patients when they're at their most vulnerable. And that's what assisted suicide policy does.
Is life a losing battle in the Empire State with this bill passing?
I don't think so. I think that on Saturday, we're going to witness how many people care, and that's really what makes the difference. You know, you can have a policy on the books, and that's terrible. We don't want discriminatory policy in the law, certainly. But at the end of the day, if we can come together and care for our neighbors and care for our loved ones so that no one ever feels the need to end their own life, that's what's going to make the difference, no matter what the governor does.
Learn more at patientsrightsaction.org and marchforlife.org.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.